Good morning, everyone. Namaste. Welcome to everyone who have logged in today for this wonderful session. I am Prabha Krishna. I'm part of the Yoga Bharati set of teachers. I'm also the secretary of this organization of Yoga Bharati Bangalore chapter. And today is a wonderful day because today is also the 8th anniversary celebration of Yoga Bharati Bangalore chapter. So we got registered in Bangalore as a Yoga Bharati trust on this day. And Raghuramji is a spiritual founder as well as chairman of this Yoga Bharati Trust. And let's all sit comfortably first and center ourselves before we move on to Raghuramji. So sit comfortably wherever you're sitting. Allow your spine to be upright. Roll your shoulders back and expand the chest area. And feel the ascent of the spine. Observe the chest movements. Feel the chest expansion there. Observe your breath. Feel connected to your breath. Observe the breath from the tip of the nostrils. And observe the breath moving in and out. Connection to your breath brings about connection to yourself. Leave aside all the sounds around you and your entire attention is on the breath. And you are only observing the flow of breath moving in and out. The in-breath and the out-breath. The breath moving in, touching the walls of the nostrils, filling up your lungs. And observe the exhaled air coming out from the tip of the nostrils. Sensitize your awareness and observe if there is any difference in the temperature in the in air and the out air. A beautiful observation. And observe how the breath is. Is it fast? Is it haphazard? Is it slow? You're only an observer. And now consciously inhale deeply to your capacity and exhale slowly. Each time as you exhale, your mind and body are at peace. With a sense of reverence, join your palms together at the heart center. Feel the connection of the palms. Bow your head. And let's chant 3 ohms as you exhale. So breathe in deeply to your capacity. Om. 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 Prarthana Om Sahana Vavatu. If you know the prayer, chant along with me. Om Sahana bhavatu sahanau bhunaktu saha viryam karavavahai tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Harihi Om. Go down and offer your prayers and offer and surrender to the Almighty. Gently come up. Blink open your eyes whenever you are ready. Namaste to everyone again. I hope you're all able to hear me. Namaste to everyone. I'm Prabha Krishna once more. Invite all of you for this Yoga Bharati anniversary celebration. I hope you all enjoyed all the 6 days of sessions we had. If you have not if you have not got a chance, I request you to have a look at all the sessions which are already there in the YouTube. And today is the last day of our anniversary celebration. We started our anniversary celebration on January 17th. And with the gift of emotions, and then over to Dr. Soumya Shri, and then personality integration, how in the yogic way, and then we moved on to so many sessions last week. So, and today is the culmination, and today is a very special day. February 13th is the 8th anniversary of Yoga Bharati Bangalore chapter. And we are blessed to have Raghuramji with us today, talking about a very, very profound topic. Who am I? Insights from Mandukya Upanishad. And many of you might not be knowing what is Mandukya Upanishad. I've also come into that category. So let's hear more, because the topic itself is very intriguing, isn't it? Who am I? So that itself, because we will be thinking, yeah, who am I really? Am I a mother? Am I a sister? Am I a yoga teacher? So we all have, we have kept on in our life creating new identities of ourselves, and slowly we have not understood who am I actually. So this today's topic with Raghuramji is all about him giving us beautiful insights about who am I. And the first half would be the philosophical angle of this who am I topic, and the second half will be the sadhana part. And without wasting any more time, I would request Raghuramji to start the session. So thank you so much, and I hope all of you enjoy, and do give your share your questions, anything towards the end of the session, so that we could convey to Raghuramji. Over to Raghuramji.
Namaste. Thank you, Prabha. Thank you, everybody, for joining today in this session. All the knowledge that is there in our Indian culture has been given in the form of Vedas. Vedas have essentially two parts of it. One is the Karma Kanda, and the other is the Jnana Kanda. Karma Kanda is generally the action or activity portion. Jnana Kanda is the knowledge portion, and also Upasana portion. That means to say it's a part of method of sadhana that is involved in the Jnana Kanda. So now, of the various Upanishads that are there, at the first day that also I shared with you all, that most important Upanishad is the Mandukya Upanishad. Out of several Upanishads there, which run to more than 300 Upanishads, the major Upanishads are 10, which are Isha, Katha, Kena, Prashna, Mundaka, Mandukya, Aitareya, Taittareya, Brihadaranyaka, Chandogya. These are the supposed to be the 10 major Upanishads. They are 10 major because that Shankaracharya wrote a commentary on that, and other Acharyas are also, they profusely quoted from these Upanishads. Out of all these things, Mandukya Upanishad is considered one of the greatest of the Upanishads. Not only that, only Mandukya is good enough. Like that the Shastras say, Ekam Mandukya Mevalam Mumukshunam Vinivartayet. It helps us to reach that moksha sthiti, directly hinting us to that moksha is this Mandukya Upanishad. So, therefore, we will run into this Mandukya Upanishad for the next 2 hours. 2 hours is actually a short time. Though it is one of the briefest of the Upanishads, there are only 12 mantras that are there in this Upanishad. But it is so profound that Shankaracharya's teacher, that is Govindapada, and his teacher is Gaudapada. Gaudapada has written a commentary on this Upanishad, and which is popularly known as Gaudapada Karika. And the Mandukya Upanishad is always read along with the Gaudapada Karika, because the quality of that Upanishad Karika that he has written, Gaudapada, is as great as the Upanishad itself. So therefore, that they included in the Mandukya Upanishad understanding Gaudapada Karika also. Because of that, it also became popular. The second thing is this Mandukya Upanishad is goes into the question very directly. Now, basic idea of Upanishads take up the fundamental questions of man. And fundamental questions like what happens after death, does God exist? Like that, one such important question is that who am I? This is such an extraordinary, wonderful question, very important, very depth going, because that this kind of a question, this question, who am I, is the question which created one Ramana Maharshi out of a small school student who is Venkataramana. So that means this Upanishad can have inquiry into that Upanishad, and also Upasana that is followed by the Upanishad can take you to that highest state of experience of realization. This is the idea of this Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad. And the question with which the sutra with which this Upanishad starts is like the way that Upanishad teacher, that is the Rishi, is just giving an expression to his experience that is there. He says, Omityetadagam sarvam tasyopa vyakhyanam bhutam bhavad bhavishyatiti sarvamiti omkarameva. It is like as if he is looking at the world in front of it, the whole manifestation in front of it, and everything he sees, and says, Idam Sarvam, this whole thing that is there in front in the form of manifestation, Idam Sarvam Om. It is nothing but Om. Upakhyanam, now let us try to understand it, and Tasya Upavyakhyanam. And what are these things? He says, this means often people have an idea that this is the one that is there in the present. So therefore he includes in that Bhutam Bhavad Bhavishyatiti. That means whatever that is past, whatever that is present, and whatever that is going to be in the future. Everything is nothing but Om. This is what he says. Omityeti idagum sarvam tasya upavyakhyanam bhutam bhavishyatiti sarvamiti omkarameva. So this is what he said. If only that he must have stopped at that level, probably there would not have any problem. But then he adds one more sentence after that. Anyatrikalaatitam tadapi omkarameva. Whatever that is beyond these three is also Om. Now that gives us a opening or a room for us to now, we need to explore into that, because it looks very illogical. Logical thing is, if I say that everything is Om, and that means to say, our assumption is that there is something which is beyond, there is nothing which is beyond. But then immediately in the next sentence, continuation of that sentence, he says that whatever that is beyond these three also is Om. So now we need to see there must be something which is beyond, and that's also part of the Om. So why did he name this as Om? That Om also, that whatever we say is not sufficient, there must be something else beyond that. And then whatever that we see is also something which is there, but beyond that also there must be something. So all these things now gives us an opportunity for us to go explore deep into this kind of a thing. That's why this first mantra itself is going to give us a shock. And the second mantra, all right, now I have understood, he gave us the idea that whatever that is there is supposed to be home. And then whatever, there must be something which is beyond whatever we said home also. And past, present, future, what is there in front is all home, he said. But now the question is, what has it got to do with who am I? Even that question also becomes an important thing that is still hanging. Therefore, then we go to the next sutra, he gives some little clarification about that, saying that Om ityetadadam sarvam tasya vyakhyanam bhutam bhavat bhavishyatiti sarvamiti omkarameva. And soyamatma Brahma, that is what he brings about. He says that everything that is there is Om. And then he says that in the second sutra, he brings about this idea called as Sarvam Hietad Brahma, Ayamatma Brahma, Soyamatma Chatushpad. Now, a little more opening that he makes. Everything is nothing but Brahma, and that's what he says. Ayamatma Brahma. That means now he brings about this idea. He says that Sarvam Hietad Brahma, whatever that is supposed to be Brahma. And not only that, I am Atma Brahma. That means to say, me or this Atma is also Brahma. So that means to say, whatever that is there, he calls it as Brahman, and he identifies himself with that which is the Atman. Atman which is there in everybody is supposed to be Brahman. I am Atma Brahma. Soyam Atma Chatushpad. And this Atma, therefore, is in the four padas. See, four padas, when I said, Om is Om, there are only three parts, but there must be some fourth part. That's why here he says, Ayamatma Brahma, Soyamatma Chatushpad. There are four parts. But then there is Sarvam Hietad Brahma, Ayamatma Brahma. This particular sutra that is there, Ayamatma Brahma, is one of the four Mahavakyas that are there, supposed to be extraordinary, wonderful words from the Vedanta point of view, from the Upanishad point of view. So, I am Atma Brahma, and this Atman is supposed to be Brahman. This often people consider this Atma to be something like soul, something that is existing, but it's not all that, but it is something which is much more deeper, saying that this addressing me is supposed to be the way that Atma is recognized. I am Atma Brahma. Therefore, me is this Brahman. That is the idea. Therefore, this question comes, who am I? Now, this inquiry about who am I, it has gone on various places, various ways that they try to look into it. Particularly, modern science try to look at human being from the point of view of observing the human being from outside. When they looked at human being, they found he is to be a physical body for a long time that they were with that intent. Unless Sigmund Freud came onto the scene, first time he said, man is not just only the physical body, but he's also the mind. Therefore, psyche and soma, these two things together. And Indian philosophy also looked at human being. We have seen in Taittiriya Upanishad, it goes into Panchakosha, 5 different personality level. So he deals with all these 5 different koshas in Taittiriya Upanishad. But we also have another view by Patanjali, who is giving us that the human being and then inward journey that we go to. On one side, he said that it is the physical, the world outside. On the other side, yourself. And then when the vritti takes us away, we go into the world outside. Vritti sarupyam itaratraha. Vritti nirodha, you go to the swarupa, yourself. In between, the vritti is there, and that vritti is in the form of both prana and subtly chitta. These are the 2 aspects of it. And several Upanishads look at several ways. And same way that Mandukya Upanishad also tries to understand human being. Therefore, this question of who am I comes into the picture. Now let us directly take up this question, who am I? The second important idea is that, anything that is there in this world, we have the object, and we have that as uh, the thing that is existing in the world outside in the form of an object or in the form of an experience and all that. But we also give a name to every object, and that name is supposed to denote that particular object. So what we give a name is supposed to be dana is giving. Therefore, abhidana is what is the name that we give. But then my intention is to show something. So therefore, when I say apple, apple is a name that we have given. But then the moment I say apple, in your mind, the picture of apple comes into the being. So dana, abhidana is apple, abhideya is a fruit called apple. Similarly, anger. So somebody is angry. That angry is the abhidana, but then actually the effect that you see on him is supposed to be the abhideya. Dheya is that purpose of it. The same way, this world is supposed to be abhideya. The manifested world is abhideya. And the name that he has given for all these things is supposed to be Om. Om is an abhidana, but it's supposed to denote everything in this world. Why he has given what is that? It's a different issue that we will not get into that. So whenever we have word that is there, it actually translates the object that is there in the world outside. Similarly, that I am is the object, but then I have given the name to this as Atma. Atma is only the abhidhana, whereas me is the abhideya. The moment that I say Atma, it's a name, but abhideya is all of us. That means you're also part of it, I'm also part of it. So when we say I, we all understand, relate to us. Now there is an experience, even experience also that is there through the senses. It also has the abhidana and abhideya. So that means now he says, Upanishad says, the way that he looks at it, when I say who am I, the very question that I ask seem to be gives us two important indications. One is that seem to be that I have an experience of this I. Therefore, that I'm saying this experientially, I have this I. I is not only a theoretical process, but it is an experiential thing. Therefore, right from the beginning, we say this I. I'm angry, I'm hungry, I'm disturbed, I'm agitated. So we keep saying that I'm rich, I am poor. So this I, we keep using all the time. So therefore, this I belongs, it is their existing form of experience. Now, second thing is, you look into your own experience, out of it you find out who is this I. So the very simple idea is, Mandukya Upanishad approach is, you have an experience of everything, several experiences that are there in your life. Out of these experiences that you have, you also have that experience called as I. So therefore, you look into your own experiences and find out who is this I. You look into your own experiences and find out who is this I. When you look at that way, then you see that I have several experiences. I walk, I talk, I have an experience of cold and pleasure, this, that, so many things, but I still don't know what is that. How do I find out this I? In order to investigate to something that we have, best thing is to see that we categorize. Like for example, when we wanted to investigate the matter, we categorized matter into three different types of matter. One is the solids, liquids, and gases. The moment that you separate them out into solid, liquids, and gases, then you are familiar with their properties. If you did not categorize, then the whole thing looks very confusing. Whereas the moment that you categorize, now you understand certain aspect of them, the properties aspect of it. So it makes easy to go further steps. This is what we have done in the world outside. Similarly, we categorize in the world outside. Something is matter, something is energy. And when we categorize this matter and energy of the world that is there outside, then it gave us the it will give an opportunity to go into further deeper investigation. So matter, the way that outside world we went on understanding, trying to find out, is that we deciphered further, we disintegrated and then find out the atom, but then further atom, we went to further disintegrated, that we get into the state of electron, proton, neutron. Suddenly it looks like that the matter and energy, they are not so separate. So the method of inquiry is created by categorizing, but then further inquiry is trying to see that how even the categorization that we have done is only at a superficial level, not at a deeper level. So this is what is the way that a categorization will help us to go deep into it. This is how, and we can apply it also the way that we need it in the world, how to use it. So this is the most important aspect of it in Mandukya Upanishad also. Look at all your experiences and categorize that. But for the Upanishad, we would not have had an idea, not even an iota of an idea how to categorize these things, our experiences, which are millions of them that are there. And it's also in the past and the present and the future. Bhutam bhavan bhavishyati. The Upanishad makes it very simple in our journey. The journey is this way, saying that whatever that is there in the experience can be divided into three different categories of experiences. All the technical details that are there in the Upanishad, I will not get into that. But looking at our own experience, we see that these three different categories of experience is useful. And one category of experiences we all have is the wakeful state experience. That means while you are awake, you have so many things in your experience. You see certain things, you hear the sounds, you walk, you talk, you eat. So there are so many things that are there in the wakeful state experiences. But this whole one group basket of experiences is a wakeful state experiences. Now, what are the common features of all these wakeful state experiences when you look at it? He says these experiences are the experiences which are achieved with the help of these senses. So I see something, I hear something, I talk something. And all these things, they are the wakeful state experiences. And all that what we see in this gross world outside. So therefore, the experiences that we have in the form of wakeful state, they all belong to the gross world. Not only they belong to the gross world, but they're also belonging to all these senses, sense perception. Somebody may not have some senses, somebody may have other, but on an average that we have, these senses are there which give us the input about this world outside. And what are these senses when you look at it? He says that we have 5 different perception senses, perceptive senses, eyes, ears, nose and touching sensation and smell and taste. These are all the 5 different senses that are there. They give the information. All the information goes into you through all these senses. These senses are the way that you connect to the world outside. The second thing is that motor senses. That means to say you walk, you touch, you hold it. So these are all the motor activities that go on, including urination, defecation. All these things are there. 5 different motor senses. So totally the way that you get information, you interact with the world, your experiences are based on these 10 different senses. 5 sensory organs, this is perception senses, and 5 motor senses that are there. But apart from that, that we also process them in the mind, intellect, and ego and memory. So therefore, that manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankara, these are the 4 processing centers that are there. They are also in the wakeful state experience. Yes, I'm thinking now, I'm analyzing, I'm recollecting, wait for a minute. You see, all these things we say, it's a part of our experience. You cannot eliminate, you cannot isolate these things. They are also part of our experience. Not only that, there are pancha pranas. That means to say, the inner force the vital force, and which is responsible for our experience in the world outside. When I'm climbing up the hill, I see that I become breathless, or when I'm in the water that I need to take breath. So that means to say that these prana will have an effect on us. So like that, these are the four internal centers, and then five pranas put together, 19 senses. Now, the very interesting thing he says is that all these 19 senses experience that we have, it belongs to the wakeful world, gross world. When he said gross world, sthula bhuku, a very important idea is that everybody's two important points that I would like to bring about is that this gross world experience is transferable. That means to say, I have seen the car standing. If I say that, you can also go out and see the car standing. That means to say, my experience and your experience match. Similarly, I hear a beautiful sound. I said the song is beautiful. You also can hear that song. So therefore, basically, that these are the senses which are in the gross world. The gross world is interchangeable. The second important point is that our senses, somebody's senses may be very sensitive, somebody's may not be sensitive. Then what happens is the person whose senses are not very sensitive, he need to use some gadgets to see that the sensitivity has improved. And then you perceive these things. Again, the perception is through these senses. Like, for example, there are so many things that you see, I cannot see it because my eyes are not strong enough. Therefore, I use the glasses, and then with the glasses that I can see that. That means to say, whatever that you can see, I can also see that with the help of glasses. But sensing process is experiences through these, again, the sensory organs. And this is supposed to be gross world. Now, there are certain things which you see, I don't see it. But there are certain things you also don't see it with the naked eye. I also don't see it with the naked eye. Therefore, we use various mechanical devices, contrivances to see that we see that object. Like, for example, we have a microscope, and through the microscope, when I can see that there is what is called as a COVID virus, you can also see the COVID virus. That's why today we have that picture of a COVID virus, which has become popular because basically you can see through the microscope. But not only I see it, you can see it. Every laboratory, everybody can see it. But this contrivance is there. Though it is so small, ordinary eye cannot see it, but with a contrivance that you can see it. Therefore, according to Mandukya Upanishad, or according to this categorization, since it is being pursued through the sensory organ, it's supposed to be the gross world. It's all about the gross world, nothing about the subtle about it. Similarly, the stars which are there, zillions of miles away, zillions of light years away, your naked eye may not be able to see it, but then we have the telescopes, and through the telescope you can recognize that there is a star. So far, many times what happens is by the time you see the star, it's also not there. It has already died. But then it is supposed to be the gross world. So like that, all these things are gross world, Ekonovimshate Mukha, 19 mouths, and this is what is Thula Bhuku, Vaishwanaraha. It is called as Vaishwanara because the Nara, the personality that is there which belongs to the world outside, is the same between me and you, and everybody is the same. Therefore, I can always say to you, and you can also perceive that. And what you see it, you can also tell me. So therefore, this is a commonplace kind of an experience. Sthula Bhuku. And this is what he calls it as akara. Let's not jump into that again immediately. But this is what is a sthula gross world that is there. This is all one experience, we all have it. And nothing which can be pursued through these particular senses, which we need to use very, very extraordinary contrivances, it is still not subtle, but it is gross. Sthula Bhuku. But then there is the next experience, and that is what is our dream experience. We all go through the dream. And in the dream also that we have various objects that are there in the wakeful state, similar kind of thing that are there. That means to say the house is there and my car is there in the dream state. In the dream state, my office is there, my boss is there, everything is there. And I have that experience. Therefore, in the dream, the experience of the dream is as good as the wakeful experience. That's why while you're in the dream, you cannot make out a difference that it is a dream state, but it is like a wakeful state experience. So therefore, the dream experience is also with all these different 19 senses. There also you think, there also you memorize, you recollect. All those things happen in the dream. And not only there, not only in the wakeful state you run, there also you run. In the wakeful state, when you run, you are tired, your prana gets disturbed. The same way in the dream state also you run, and then you are tired, and then your prana gets disturbed. You run fast, and then there is a tiger chasing you in the dream that you run faster than the tiger, increase your speed, a breakneck speed that you go, but then the tiger comes closer to you, because after all, the tiger, whether it is in wakeful state or dream, it is always faster than a human being. All those things happen in the dream exactly as much as it happens in the wakeful state. So there also 19 modes, 19 different senses through which that you experience. And all those things are there, but only the difference is this is what is happening in the gross world, and that's what is the subtle world. Taijasaha pravivikta bhuko. It's in the subtle world. Subtle world in the sense that you cannot transfer it to somebody else. Gross world, you can always transfer, the others also can perceive. If I see a dream, I cannot tell somebody else that you can also see that same dream. You cannot see it. It's absolutely very personal, your own. It is this basically the what is called as Vaishvanara there. That means to say the Purusha who is there belonging to everybody. And here Taijasa, that means your own, and you are projecting it by the light projected by you. Tejas is from you. You projected it, then therefore that you see it. So this is what is the dream experience that we have. And though very well that we know that it's a dream experience, but still dream keeps coming. And again, whatever the impact that the dream has to have, it still has an impact in the dream state. Like you are frightened when the tiger chases you in the dream, you are really frightened. Even though today you know that the dream is nothing but what is that you created, the tiger, all the dream objects are what you created, tiger is also you created. But in spite of it, tomorrow also again the tiger comes, tomorrow also you are afraid of it. Similarly, in the dream state, that you might have failed an exam and then you feel miserable because you failed that exam. There is no future for you. You wake up and found out that it is a dream. Oh, you laugh at it. And again, tomorrow when you sleep, that dream comes back. And again, that you fail in exam. Again, the same effect will be there. It continues. So that means to say, this dream experience, we all have it. And not only that, we all must have dream experience. That's what the scientists say. If we did not have that dream experience, probably we wouldn't have been alive. So one is the wakeful state experience, another is the dream experience. Apart from that, we have also the third experience, which is the deep sleep experience, where neither the wakeful state is there, nor the deep sleep state is there. A deep dream is there, but it is a deep sleep state where both these things are not there. In these two states, wakeful state and dream state, we have these 19 modes. That means to say, your experiences through one of these senses. That means to say that in the wakeful state, you say, yes, the object is very tasty because I taste it. Similarly, in the dream state also, a wonderful flower I saw and it's so beautiful. That means the eyes are seeing that. Whereas The deep sleep state is the state where it does not belong to any experience of any one particular sense. It does not belong to any particular internal organs like the way that your dream or your memory or anything like that. Just I slept so deep, like it's not from the memory of yesterday's sleep, deep sleep. It's today, it is very fresh. Therefore, whatever the experience that is there in the deep sleep state does not belong to all these senses. This 19 mouths, Ekonamimshatamuka, does not exist. But then what happens is that experiencer is there. Therefore, you wake up and say that I had a wonderful sleep. I slept so very well. And we all care for that. Everybody we want had to have good sleep. Even the measurement that the people take about the sleep state analysis, they see that average man sleeps for about 40 to 50% of the sleep state is deep sleep state. The rest of it is dream state. And that deep sleep state is necessary for that. So therefore, we need to have it. So these are the three experiences that we all have it. So all our experiences now we can categorize into these three states. But then he says that Tadapanya Trikala Titam, there is one more state that he says Chatushpaditavyam. There are four parts. That gives us a very simple idea how to find out, because all my experiences I categorize into these three states, and that's okay, that's over. But then he says that where is that fourth state experience? What is that fourth he is talking about? When we look at it, logically now, that is what Jnana Yoga, Jnana idea is that logically you look at it, all these wakeful state experiences is your own. Dream state experiences are also your own. And deep sleep also is your own experience. But you cannot interchange them. Wakeful state experience is absolutely wakeful experience. Dream experience is totally, completely a dream experience. And deep sleep experience is completely deep sleep experience where all these senses, nothing is existing. None of these things are existing. But then you are there as an experiencer. So very simple conclusion is that all these three states are something which is like superimposed on you and you are somebody behind it. That's a very simple idea. You must be there behind it. So therefore that you go through all these experiences. And not only that, one cannot be replaced by the other. And third, therefore, you are somebody who is not wakeful person, nor dream or not deep sleep. You are somebody removed from all these three. That must be the fourth state, that must be you. That must be the experience of Atma. It is basically the way that you conclude about that by logic. Yes, logic gives us that. A very simple example, normally they give us that you have the television, on the TV that you have one channel that is running, football matches going on, but then boring match that you are not interested in football, you change the channel, just a press of a button, then immediately a cricket match is going on. Cricket is very important. Suddenly you remember, no, I need to watch the news, immediately you change the channel. All these three channels are changed, but these channels are changing. You know very well that there is a TV that is there behind it. It it doesn't belong to any particular channel, but it provides a platform for running a particular channel. It provides a platform to run a cricket match, a football match, and also a news. And we have 1,000 channels these days on the TV. They are so rich. Therefore, some people will be there sitting in front of the TV, keep on changing the channels. They don't be watching any one particular channel. But anyway, there is this TV which is there behind it. Look at the TV. That's very important. The same way that all these channels are happening on the TV, the same way that all these states are seem to be happening on you. You are behind it. That's a simple analogy. So that means to say these three states that we think that we are there, these are nothing but the program that is there on the platform called you, and you are behind it. And when do you come to know understanding about this I? Is when you stop all these three things and then you come to the fourth state. That means eliminate the wakeful state, dream state, and deep sleep state. You come to the fourth. Very simple conclusion that Upanishad brings about this. It looks very easy, simple. But it is not that simple. That's why we need to get into the depth understanding about it. If it were so simple, then Gaudapada would not have given so many stanzas of explanation about behind all those things to give Gaudapada Karika. Now let us try to understand this particular thing. Wakeful state experience is something which is transferable. But then he says that 19 senses, sthula bhuku. It is gross, but not only just you experience these things, but also why do we need to experience anything in this world? Any experience is supposed to be nourish us, supposed to give us some information, something which we improve. Like, for example, what we see, why do we see it? So that I can get the benefit out of it. I take the advantage of it. What I hear is something that I hear so that I take the advantage of it, benefit of it. Like that, all these things are supposed to be to see that they will give us the information. Now, it's not just only information because the outside world has so many things that are there. Outside world has so many things that are there. All that is useful as far as the world is concerned, but they are not useful for you, may not be all that useful. Like the way that there are certain things which are useful, certain things you are not useful. You just have to leave it aside, throw it aside, and then take what is useful for you. That's why he says that sthula bhuku, gross you take it. Bhuku, that means to say that you nourish. What nourishes you, you take it. What does not nourish you, don't take it. Choice is yours. Therefore, that this is a state that is there on you. Wakeful state is there on you. And what is useful, you take it. That's what I said in the TV also, that football match is boring, therefore I change the channel. That means to say I don't want that to take it, I leave it. So that means the same thing that in simple sense also, like for example, you take the tender coconut. It's beautiful, it's very nice, it's nutritious, nourishing and all that. And particularly you are thirsty in the hot sun that you need to take tender coconut and you pay money. He gives the coconut. All that what you take is the water that is there inside, the rest of it you throw it away. Very normally, naturally that we do it. I mean, but you paid for the whole coconut, why don't you eat the coconut? I said, no, that's not nourishing for me. That doesn't help me. Only the water is that which take. No, water portion is only just about 5% of whatever the coconut that is there. Weight wise, when you take it, but then it doesn't matter. I'll just take only what is nourishing. So whatever that is not nourishing, I leave it behind in coconut. But we don't even ask about that. We don't even think about it. We do that. But then how many places do we exercise this kind of freedom that it should be nourishing for you? But then coconut has all those things. Yes, they were all necessary for the sake of coconut to have the water, to preserve that water, that all that was necessary. So God created all those things for the necessity purpose, but not for you. You don't have to worry about it. Like that, there are so many things that are there created. What you take it is what is nourishing for you. Go ahead. The food. Look at the food, whether it is nourishing for you or not. Then you take it, otherwise, don't take it. As simple as that. But you know how many times so many things interfere and then we take the food, which is not nourishing for me. Like you go to the restaurant or you go to a place and then you take the food, but then you see that that food is too much for you and it's not the food that you really like it. It doesn't go well with you. So therefore, You leave it, but then argument comes. I paid for this, I did that, and I have to have this. So I still have it, but then your stomach will upset. Okay, I will take some couple of pills to see that my stomach is taken care of. So you try to do that. Why do we do that? Because what is nourishing, you take it. What is not nourishing, don't take it. In fact, I've seen many times these children, particularly in the buffet, they pick up the food in the buffet plate and all that, and then mothers are there. When they eat something, after that the child does not feel like eating. Mother forces the child, come on, you have picked up all those things. Don't waste food, eat it. Child says, I don't want it. No, you must eat it. You should not waste it. In fact, some mothers will give an intelligent argument. That is, in Ethiopia, people are dying out of hunger. So therefore, you must eat it. No child questions because that child does not have an intellect that way. But then if you question that, all right, my eating here, this food will help in the people in Ethiopia, there is no reason for that. So many people are dying, million people are dying in the world without food. Does not mean that I should eat the food that is there. Huh? A mother says that while picking up the food, you can go second time, third time, but don't unnecessarily waste the food. That's okay. Waste food also, food is not wasted, it just goes into the cycle. Only thing is the effort that is put behind the food is wasted. And it's not just only the food, but also the way that you take it, it should be nourishing. That means that the right kind of a feeling, right kind of an atmosphere that you take the food. Many times I see people these days pick up the food, sit in front of the TV, watch the TV, whatever that's going on, and eat food. They don't even know what they are eating. That means their attention is not there in the food. Is it nourishing? That's what we need to question. So therefore, what we take, the food should be nourishing. Sthula bhuku. And this is in the gross world. Yes, food when we take, at least that we have that kind of an idea. But what about all the other? He says that mouth is only one sensory organ. 19 other sensory organs are participated in the world outside. And we take in the gross world outside. What we see, what we hear, all these things are supposed to be something which is basically nourishing. But how many times we see the things which we are not really not nourishing, we don't even notice that aspect of it. All kinds of junk that happens on the TV, we keep watching that. All nonsense. We never even looked at saying that, is it really necessary for me to have these things for my nourishing? We did not see that. Similarly, what we hear, our attention immediately goes to somebody's gossip. Just to put a question to you, is it really important for you to take that gossip? Is it nourishing for you? One simple question, litmus test that is it nourishing for you? If it is not nourishing, don't listen to it. Not only what we hear, what we see, all those things, but what we exercise also should be nourishing. My motor senses, my walking, my talking, my holding something, all these things should also be for nourishing. It is not nourishing, then I don't go for that. And if it is not nourishing, if it is nourishing, then I go for that. Many times, God has given us legs, He wanted us to walk. Walking is the way that the legs become strong, but we don't walk because that we have contrivances that are there. We stop, escape from doing that. Physical exercise. That's one of the reasons today man falls sick so easily because that he is not doing what he's supposed to do, nourishing and motor senses. Use the joints will be useful. If you don't use it, they will be disused. It's not nourishing. So therefore, that even these things, you just question yourself. And another thing is that for you to nourish, nobody else is responsible. You're responsible. You have to pick it up and do it. Therefore, ekonabhimshatipka, not only these things, even in the memory that you keep it, you recollect all those things. Just look at what is nourishing for you. There are so many things in this world that you come across, and the memory of it is not nourishing for you. You don't even get better by that. All negative things. We keep in mind negative things. We watch negative things. The more and more that we keep negative things and watch negative things, you are poisoning yourself. You are not nourishing. And unfortunately, what happens is when we don't understand that, deep inside our memory, we keep so many things which are negative only. However much the positive things are there, are layers and the outer layers, but still that we bury inside that this particular negative things. At one point of time later on, somebody says something about negative of somebody, immediately your response will be, oh yeah, I knew this 5 years ago that this man is like that or this woman is like that. Why did it happen? Because 5 years ago you buried in you something which is negative. This is all part of the 19 months. So therefore, when you look at it, wakeful state, sthula bhuku, it's a gross nourishment, and you are the master of whatever that nourishes you, and then what you need to take in. If you just look at this one simple aspect of it, you don't even have to go to the Upanishad. This itself is something which is so useful in life, is so wonderful in life, so that nothing in this world outside can definitely disturb you, disturb your equanimity. That's what is you are. It nourishes you. So this gross world is so important. Apart from that, there is another important aspect is that whatever that is there in the gross world is something which is interchangeable. That means I experience, I can pass on that experience to you. Whatever you experience, pass on to me. Therefore, all these education, transfer of knowledge, everything happens only in the wakeful state because that we can transfer these things. And of all those things, as Upanishad puts it, everything that experience is there, we put it in the form of words, in the form of language. This is what is dheya, that means to say the purpose that I want you to do it. And dana is whatever that I give in the form of verbal expression to it. Abhidana, abhideya. So therefore, everything that is there in this world is converted into abhidana. That means to say the word that we have, word, and then to communicate to each other. And of all the 80 million species on that earth, only human being is the one who can convey all these experiences into form of words and then pass on the information. That's the reason why today that we are becoming so rich in our knowledge, understanding what it was there 100 years ago. All those things we have overruled, and today we have science advanced, knowledge advanced. Then we go forward. This whole thing is happening. This is Stula Bhuku. The second thing is the dream experience. And the dream experience is where it is purely pravivikta bhuku. That means to say all that experience is your own. It's absolutely yours. Nobody else can take it. And that's what is supposed to be sukshma. According to the way many people understand that sukshma is something which is minute part of sthula. No, it is not minute part of sthula. It's a totally different world altogether. That means your dream state, no uh, equipment or the no gadgets can improve it in such a way that it can be passed on to the sense experience. It can be brought into the sense experience. Like for example, today the cell phones are there, and then whatever the phone signal that come, maybe somewhere in the other part of the world it comes, but then we have all those contrivances, all those equipment to see that it is brought to you. Because the sound comes to you through and you perceive through your ears, it is supposed to be sthula only. It's not sukshma according to Vedanta. But then there's a whole lot of sukshma world that is there which cannot be transferred to each other. That's what is the world that belongs to the dream. So it's absolutely your own dream. It's nobody else's dream. Everybody's dream is his own. It cannot be transferred to anybody. Or I cannot say that, look, I have a dream, so therefore you should believe my dream. No, there is no way that you can believe my dream. I had in my dream, got this experience. When I say that I don't believe in your dream, it does not mean I do. I deny your dream. No, I still accept your dream. Only thing is that I cannot borrow that dream for you. Very important thing about this particular thing is that many times people impose somebody else's dream on you. Whole religion is based on that. Like for example, somewhere somebody has some experience, extraordinary experience, but it cannot be transferred to anybody else. But then they say that, look, you believe in this experience of mine. If you don't believe that, I will kill you. This is the way that on the sword that people spend this people spread this religion. Look at the way that we have in Bhagavad Gita that Arjuna standing in the battlefield had an extraordinary, wonderful vision of Vishwarupa Sandarshana. That means to say, in an extraordinary degree form of Krishna, connecting the whole world, everything. But then there were lakhs of people they are there in the battlefield. Nobody had that experience. Only the people who had experience out of the God's grace was Arjuna, and then the other person who had the experience was that Sanjaya. Maybe when Sanjaya said, because of that, then Dhritarashtra got it, but even that's also doubtful. But Sanjaya saw that and Arjuna saw that. They only saw that it cannot be. Even the greatest person there standing in the form of Bhishma, he also did not know what's happening there. So that means to say this is very personal experience that is there. This dream world experience is the experience where we all have, everybody has it. Then what is this experience of dream? It has got two important components. One component is the content of the dream, and the other is the spirit behind the dream or the emotion behind the dream. This is what Indian philosophy says, that from the modern psychology, they says that analyze the dream, says no, understand the dream. Understanding the dream means basically decipher these two things. One is the content and the other is the intention behind it. Like, for example, emotion behind it. I have an emotion of fear. The emotion is fear. And then in my dream, I pick up the objects which can really show me the aspect of fear. I gave the earlier example that a tiger is chasing me in the forest. Actually, the tiger is not important, the forest is not important, but the fear that is important, because of which I run for my life. Many people have this kind of an idea of a, a, a thief, a robber entered into the house and then he has a gun which is focused on you, or a dagger in his hand, and then you are the victim there. Oh, you are frightened. And they are not important. The object is not important. The thief is not, robber is not important. Gun is not important. But a situation which creates that fear is important. And that you could see that a person who is dreaming, when he has that kind of a bad dream, all that changes that are supposed to happen in the wakeful state, kind of a thing, that happens even in the dream. That means if fear is solid, and your palpitations increase, that's also solid. Your respiration increases, that's also very solid. That means to say that dream is very important for you. Not only we dream, even these days the animals also dream. If a pet dog or a cat, you can see that their dream is coming. And it was said that in the tribals, when the life was very simple, that means to say it did not complicate with too many items, people did not have so many dreams. Whereas today, we have so many gadgets, so many things, and then constant bombardment of information in the wakeful state. As a result of it, we have also increased in our dreams. And today that we can have the laboratories which study the sleep state, where you can very clearly see when he has the deep sleep state and when the mind has that dream state, you can always see that. And then the moment which is known as actually a rapid eye movement, REM sleep. REM sleep is basically that there is a dream. That means to say eyeballs are moving, but then eyeballs move very rapid. That means to say you are having very anxious kind of a dream. Simply moving, it's not that anxious, it's a pleasant kind of a dream. Actually, experiments are done to wake them up and ask them what is the dream. Then they elaborate what the dream that they had while they are finishing the dream that they asked that. Whatever that is there in the dream, when they start explaining about it, it's almost like the dream must be about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but the time that they explain, it goes to hours together. That means to say dream is a very beautiful state where the whole information is condensed. But then you are the person who is experiencing that condensed information, but you are there in the dream state. But it cannot be transferred to the wakeful state. And this experience is there. So dream experience also is there. Then why does the dreams happen? In fact, that is what the scientists have said, that when they found out that this is a state where the mind goes to the dream state, they try to immediately recognize that he's going to the dream and then shake him up and wake him up, see that he will not have dream. And then again, provided nice small little something, drink to drink and all that, go to the sleep. He goes back to the sleep again, but then when he goes to sleep again, when the dream comes, wake him up so that he will not have dream. They thought, they wanted to see the experiment. If man does not have a dream, what will happen? At least 3 months we wanted to do the experiment, and then they tried to do it. Within about 15 days, that person became mad because he did not have an opportunity to dream. This information gives us an idea. Dream is not unnecessary. Dream is something which is necessary. Not only necessary, it is nourishing. If the dream is there, then that makes you sane. If you did not dream, then it makes insane. What is the sanity that dream brings about? Therefore, the hypothesis or the idea that they said is, dream is a state where in our mind we have suppressed so many emotions from the wakeful state. And those emotions we try to give an expression in the dream state. So that the dream is place where your mind is relieved of all those emotions which are kept in your mind. Deep inside in your mind memory that you kept it, those unnecessary, uncomfortable emotions, you throw it away. A very interesting, just an anecdote that people say that every child wants to beat his dad because whatever you say, dad says, no, don't do that. Particularly male child, dad says, don't do it. Don't touch that. Okay? Dad has all those things and then he does everything and then I should not touch it. They said, don't touch. So every child is angry with the dad, but then he can't do anything with dad because dad is very big. So therefore, now he has all that suppressed emotion that is there, anger towards dad. So he collects in the dream his uncle, who is dad's younger brother, looks exactly the same, bald head and wears glasses and wears always the blue shirt like the dad wears. So all those things very similar to that. Voice also very similar. So he picks up and he is very close to his uncle. Uncle does not say anything to him. Uncle is a very nice person. He cannot do anything to his dad even in the dream. Therefore, he picks up his uncle in the dream and then nicely he gives him bashing. Not that he really wanted to give bashing to his uncle, but the idea is that that's an easy target for him. Give an expression to all the suppressed emotion called as the anger towards the dad. How many such things are there in our dreams so that the dreams is removing all that which is suppressed emotion? That's why somebody called dream is a scavenger. Cleans the whole thing, your mind, of all unwanted emotions that are there in the form of dream. Whether it is fear, whether it is anxiety, whether it is a desire to have something, all those things that you give an expression in the dream, so that you feel relieved. Therefore, if we do not have those dreams, we really become insane. So therefore, the dream is something which is very important. And the dream world where we have all these experiences, something which is nourishing. This is what he says, Pravivikta Bhuko. But this is absolutely, absolutely subtle. That means it's not transferable to one to other. I cannot say that, look, the money that I borrowed you, 10,000 rupees, I cleared that debt in my dream state. I'm sorry that you keep it in your dream, but in the wakeful world that you give me that money, don't have to transfer it. So what happens in the dream is that we pick up the object from the wakeful state and then we exercise that wakeful state objects in the dream state. But all that, whatever that is in the dream, we cannot transfer it to the wakeful state. It's our own experience, your own experience. In a mental hospital asylum that these two people, they were discussing old inmates of that asylum, and one fellow says to the other, oh my God, world is so horrible. This world is so horrible. What happened? Look at way, that somebody, they have put Gandhi in the mental asylum. such a great person, Mahatma Gandhi, they put him in the mental asylum. Immediately, the other person became anxious, curious. He said, "What? Gandhi has been put in the mental asylum? Where?" And this first person who said that, "I'm here, I'm Gandhi, I'm in the prison, I'm in the asylum." The second fellow says, "Who said that you are Gandhi?" First fellow replies that last night in my dream, God came to me in my dream and said that I am Gandhi. Therefore, I realized that Gandhi is there in the asylum. The first fellow laughs. He said, "Don't believe in that. Forget about it. I never came to your dream to say that you are Gandhi." That means first fellow thinks that he is Gandhi because in the dream he has seen. The second fellow says that he is himself God. He did not come to his dream. So in the dream that you can become anything, you can see all those things. Many people see gods in the dream. Many people see various images in the dream. It's very important for them to understand what is there hidden in that. But it's not for the sake of transferring somebody else. Now, this dream is not just only there when you are in the deep, when you are sleeping, but during the wakeful state also. How many of us we have so many different dreams that are there? So it is like the way that you see the stars which are there during the day, in the sleep, and in the night. The stars have not. I mean, in the night that you see all the stars that are there. During the day, the stars have not gone anywhere. The stars are still there. Only thing is, during the day, sunlight is so powerful that you don't see the stars behind it. But the stars are still there. The same way that the dream state is there during the wakeful state also, but then the importance of the world outside the gross world is so important, so impactful. Our dream world goes at the background, but it is still there. Many times, what happens if you sit down for meditation, close all the external impact on your system and all that, suddenly all this dream world once again appears in front of you. That's what we call it as thoughts. That's what we call it as various ideas and all that. These are the dream world. This is part of the dream world that we have. And many people that while driving, while doing something also the activity they make it as mechanical. But then behind that they have those dreams going on. So they get loose, they get lost in that dream world. That's what the story of Sheikh Chili, that he lost in his dream. And we all lose in our dream. So dream world is there constantly, that is there. In fact, whatever that you say, the wakeful world, much more powerful than that is the dream world. And I said dream world is for the sake of that you ward off your suppressed emotions like anger, fear, and all those things. Not only that, we bring that kind of a dream world in the case of children. Like, for example, a dark place one child has to cross, he feels afraid of that dark place because, again, the stories are given to him that there are ghosts, and when you go into the black place, that there are ghosts that are there. They try to harm you, and the child will not go. But the mother says that, think of Hanumanji. Say Hanuman Chalisa. Not only say it loud, so that Hanuman will take and give a protection to you. First of all, ghosts themselves were not reality. Now Hanuman himself is not a reality, and then he takes away all those things. It's not any of those things, but the thing is that the fear that you have, you create an image in front of you, Hanuman, so that he takes away that fear. So that way, when you see that all these great powers and strength that we have created, to take away the unknown fears that are there within us, anxieties that are there within us, in order to surrender that we have created all those things. Not only that we have created the various image of gods and all that, but we created the whole story behind it. That's what in Hanuman Chalisa Tulsidas says, that you remember this Hanuman, that all the demons and all these various ghosts that all that, they don't approach you. First of all, ghosts themselves is not reality, and the demons are not reality. None of those things. The same way Hanuman is all. He lived, say, in the Treta Yuga, several years ago, several thousands of years ago. And then where is he now? Therefore, we have created a story that he will never die. He is always there. Wherever that you think of Rama, Hanuman is always there. Yatra yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam, tatra tatra Krutamastakanjalam, Bhashpavari Paripurna Lochanam, Maritim, Namata. So that means to say basically that we create the whole thing to give the people this idea that he is always existing. It's a beautiful thing. It's a nice thing to see that how human being can be controlled. So therefore, this dream world has another big area, and that big area is all these gods and goddesses. We have given them the names, we have given the form. Like a child who is studying well, he is putting so much of interest in the education, but at the same time, he is anxious whether he is not able to perform the exams unless until he gets the marks, he is not recognized. All that anxiety is there. Yes, think of a Ganesha. Pray to the Ganesha. Look at the way that when you go to the exam time in front of Ganesha temple, there's a queue of people, children, because they say Ganesha will take care of your exam. Not that he will take care of your exam, your anxiety, how you perform, that is removed. Otherwise, the subject, you have to prepare yourself, you have to strive yourself. If you don't do that, no Ganesha will help you. So therefore, we have to have all these kind of things that are there. We created the rituals, we gave the reality for these gods and goddesses to say in such a way that they will take care of us. But it is absolutely personal. That means to say, look at this culture. In this culture, we have Ganesha. In this culture, we have Hanumanji. And in this culture, that we have Shiva and Parvati. In this culture, we have Vishnu, etc., etc. But in the other culture, they are not there. But then they have got their own images. If you go to the West, there is an image of Atlas, is supposed to be holding the earth. It is purely personal. It's purely individualistic. It cannot be questioned. Like people question saying that how can a human being have an elephant head? Yeah, impossible. But then people try to give an answer saying that during that time that they used to know about plastic surgery. I mean, these are all imagination that you have created. Rather than that, just directly imagine that all that knowledge, bank of knowledge, is collected by the sensory organs, and then you have a very beautiful image where all these sensory organs input is there, big sensory organ. That's what is the elephant head. Look at the ears, huge ears. Eyes are so powerful, nose so long, and the head is so big. It can get all the knowledge of the world. Therefore is the God of knowledge. What a beautiful, fertile, poetic imagination that is there. In fact, not only these people, that in the West also that they have such wonderful thing. Atlas is somebody who's holding muscular person, he's holding all the earth, the whole earth. But you cannot logically question saying that, all right, if he is holding the earth, where is he standing? Where is he sitting? But that's not fine. Because that's a beautiful, fertile imagination that they have. So these are the things which are possible at any point of time. Look at the way that the world has been attracted towards this Harry Potter, the recent times. Everything there is imagination. There is nothing which is reality. But people have taken it so seriously and that they are following that. So that means, thank God that human being has this imagination. He can put all his emotions into that and create this kind of thing. But when you do all those things, that you are relieved from unnecessary and wanted emotions that are disturbing you, so that you can free yourself. Therefore, Upanishad says, Pravivitta bhuku, whatever that information is there, it should really nourish you. What is not nourishing, don't entertain that. What is nourishing, you take it. Like the way in the wakeful state, whatever that nourishes, that we take it. The same way in the dream state also, whatever that nourishes, you take it. What does not nourish, do not take it. And then the deep sleep state, that's the third stage. Even that's also supposed to be nourishing you. That's why Ananda Bhuku. See, in all other states that there are sensory organs, and then your experience of Ananda or the bliss that is there through the sensory organ. Whether it is in the wakeful state or the dream state, in between that you see something, you hear some music, or you get some fragrance, therefore you get the experience of Ananda, the bliss that is there. But the deep sleep state, none of these sensory organs exist. Your eyes are not there, ears are not there, your perception senses are not there. None of these things are there. But whatever that ananda that you get in the wakeful and dream state, the same kind of ananda, or much more than that ananda, is there in the deep sleep state. That's why there the nourishing is directly through the ananda. How do you say that you have that nourishment of ananda in the deep sleep state? It's basically when you get up from the deep sleep state, you say, yes, I really had a wonderful sleep. Absolutely so wonderful that I did not even dream anything. No dreams were there. So this is what is Ananda Bhuku. But then that is something. And another thing is that you are just only the Cheto Matra. That means to say you are just only existent there. The reason is that you have that experience. You don't even have a reporter. In the deep sleep state, you never report saying that, yes, now I'm in the deep sleep state, therefore, that I'm having that blissful state. No. You define about that blissful state only when you wake up. And the deep sleep state should be nourishing. So that you rejuvenate you. This is what Upanishad says. Deep sleep state where the thoughts are not there, why mind is not working or anything like that, you rejuvenate. Previous night when you go to the bed, you have absolutely no energy, you cannot do any activity. If there's some little work that is left behind, you curse yourself, oh my God, this also I have to take care of it. Particularly these days, the modern technology has given us. The last work when we go to bed before that, what we do is check the evil mail. Evil mail is email, short form. And then you open the inbox, that there are 40 mails sitting there, and you keep answering, you keep clicking. Curse yourself. And by the time that you click the last word, last mail, shut off the computer and come to the bed. My wife asked me, did you check the front door? You're so exhausted. You don't have any energy. Many times I replied her saying that I will check the front door tomorrow morning, not now. Because there's no energy. But look at what happens next morning when you get up. As soon as you get up, you can go for a 5-mile jog. You can go for a gym, and then do all that activity, sweat for about half an hour. Where does that energy come from? All that what you do, is it not coming from the sleep state? So deep sleep state is rejuvenating. It's energy giver. So it is supposed to be something which is nourishing from the deep sleep state. If we did not have that sleep, we would not have been nourishing. Fortunately for us, is that our body, bits and pieces, take that sleep from us, deep sleep state. Either sitting in the classroom or doing some activity. Many times sitting in front of the TV, you go to deep sleep state. Sound sleep. I mean, sleep for you, sound for others. All that is nourishing, very important. That's why somebody going to sleep, I don't disturb them at all. I allow them to sleep because at least my talk is so useful that it can put him into sleep. Nourishing, very nice. But it should be only nourishing. Like the way that wakeful state, you select what is nourishing for you, what is not nourishing, reject it. Like that in the deep sleep state also. Asleep, what is good for you, nourishing is very important. What sleep does not nourish you is something which is very poisonous for you. Now people ask the question that what is that? One thing is that sleep is not in our hands. Where we want to sleep, it does not happen. You lie down on the bed, switch off the lights, everything you do it, but then sleep may not happen. Dream goes on. Deep sleep does not happen. Many times people get up and say that whole night I was only dreaming. No sleep at all. It's not in your hands. Where you don't want it, sleep happens. Like sitting in my classroom, and it's students sleep, fine. But only thing is, don't have a sound sleep. Sleep for you, sound for others. Others will be disturbed. Let them also sleep nicely. But what is this nourishing sleep, he says? You do the experiment and then find out from your own experience. In the afternoon, after you have nice, wonderful lunch, when you take the lunch, the whole energy of the body goes to the stomach to process the lunch. But then, that is why your brain stops functioning, your senses, You do not feel like speaking or anything like that. Therefore, at that point of time, it's good to see that you just take a siesta, that a sleep-like state, so that your stomach will be function, will be taking care of making use of all that energy to digest the food. That's healthy thing. Therefore, many cultures have this idea of that immediately after food, just take a siesta. That's supposed to be healthy. If you sleep for about 15 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, fine. But try to sleep after food in the afternoon for about 3-4 hours. You see that what happens? You do that experiment. Your own experience shows that after 3 hours of experience of sleep, in the afternoon you wake up, you feel so zombie, dull, and your mind is filled with negativity, and you have absolutely no energy to do any activity. And you become so useless at that time and very irritable. All these things happen because that sleep that you slept is not nourishing for you. You should not sleep it. Sleep is very important, all right, but you should not sleep something which is not nourishing for you. That's why that kind of a sleep is supposed to be tamas, which is gravitating you onto the ground, which does not allow the higher centers to function. It becomes negative for you. Therefore, that sleep is something which is not nourishing. A good sleep is that which is nourishing. Therefore, what we need to have is the right kind of a sleep, right amount of sleep. In fact, people who sleep more than what is necessary for the body, they become easily vulnerable to sickness very easily. And their immunity system is low. And people who sleep like that, they develop blood pressure and they develop heart diseases. All these things show that, in fact, wakeful state you access, it may not be so dangerous, but whereas the sleep when you excess, it is very dangerous. Therefore, sleep is the cause for our heart attack. Sleep is the cause for our negativity. Sleep is the cause for our obesity. It's not the food that you eat is the cause for obesity as much as the sleep that you sleep. Therefore, we should not use the sleep excessively. All these things are for the sake of nourishment. All this whole gamut of our spiritual journey that we have in the form of Puranic activities, all the gods and goddesses, temples and rituals, they're all to see that they take care of your emotions that are there in the dream state. But unfortunately, what happened? It is purely for ourselves, but when we try to impose that thing on the others, what these ideas that you have is a religion. That's what basically the part of religion. And then we try to impose our religion on the others, our belief on the others. In fact, the way Indian philosophy is said is that don't impose on others what you believe. It's your belief, it's for you, useful. It's like the way that your mother is your mother, your father is your father. Huh? When they say mother and father, it is when I say that Matrudevo Bhava, everybody remembers his own mother. Pitrudevo Bhava, everybody remembers his own father because it's special for him. And they also express like that. Oh, my father is very special. Recently, we went to some function. My granddaughter was there. All my brothers were also there. My granddaughter was introducing. He is my grandfather. He's grandfather. He's grandfather. And then showing me, he says, he is my grandfather. That my was underlined, highlighted. See, the joy is there. Factory of conversion is started because just feeling that you should believe in my dream. You should believe in my activity. This is an unfortunate thing that happened. We need to come out of that. We need to understand that. So now all these things are wonderful, but then still you did not say, who is this I behind it? As I said that the fourth state, Chatushpadatavyam Omkara, Aum, and the fourth pada is also important. Now we come to that Omkara, saying that what is that fourth pada? This says where wakeful state is not there, dream state is not there, deep sleep state is not there, Akara is not there, U is not there, Ma is not there, where nothing is there, nothing is also not there, and that state is called as supposed to be the fourth state. Yatra nanyat pashyate nanyat chunote nanyat vijanati sabhuma. Eso bhuma parame vyoman tatsukam tadamrutam. That fourth state is something which is the Upanishad talks about it. Why it is equated to Aum? Because all our, as we said, that object outside, we convert it to the language. The language is to communicate about that object. Like the way that I gave that example, when I say apple, apple is what I said, but immediately it rings bells in you and you imagine the apple. It may be fruit apple or it may be Apple computer, whatever it is. But whatever the way that you said it, the image is the one that is created within you. The language that you say is like the way that the finger which is showing towards the moon. Don't look at the finger, look at the moon. And that's what is the idea of this language. And all the words that you use in this language for communication, whichever language that you take it, the beginning is A, the end is M. And bridge these two words, letters, A and M, with the middle word called as U, and that's what it makes it as Aum. So that means to say whatever that is there in the form of objective world, dheya, what we would like to show, objective world that is there, and transaction, everything that is there in this world, I might give instructions, bring that or take it, all these things that we say, giving an expression to activities and the objects that are there, qualities, everything we give an expression in the form of words. That's a beautiful way of looking at it. It's not just only the object, but whatever that is there in the objective world. He looks to be angry, he looks to be depressed. Even these things are also nothing but words. But all these words, that is the objects, expressions, emotions, belong to the outside world. We put it in the form of words, and that words, they all belong to within A and M. So when we are singing, chanting Aum, what happens is all that dialogue that is there in the form of words that is there within you, moment you say Om, it's all enveloped, it's all completely covered. There is nothing left. But then that means to say it covers everything. He puts everything in a cover. And then the moment you stop Om, everything is dissolved. Everything goes into the background. And what is left behind is the silence. And that silence is the most important part of Om. And that silence is the thing where wakeful state is not there, dream is not there, deep sleep is not there. But that silence is what is you. That silence is the fourth state. And the moment you give any name to it, it belongs to one state or the other. That's why they didn't give the name to it. They kept it as it is, called as they call it as the way that he said. It is the fourth state. That's why it is called as Turiya. Now, when it's Upanishad says that that fourth state is there, then you realize that even in your normal day-to-day life, when I said about the dreams are there in the wakeful state also, you realize that yes, they are there. The same way that the fourth state, when I say that they are there, it is there, you have the glimpse of it here and there. Many times when you finish all the work, you are exhausted, you just sit down on a couch, just to stretch yourself completely. A moment that you are an experience is there, you are not wakeful, you are not dreaming, you are not in deep sleep state, but you are there. And then just peaceful, just quiet, in a blissful state. You are there in that. And then you don't want that disturbed state to be disturbed. If somebody at that moment comes and says, come on, why don't you get up and do something? Say, let me just be there quiet for a moment. Don't even disturb me. Don't even talk to me. That means you don't want to disturb. That's a moment where you are identified with yourself. And that maybe in a day's, and that experience will last for such a fraction of a second, fraction of a minute, that you can't hold on to it. You don't continue in that. Mind will once again go on its treadmill. So this state, fourth state, is there in our experience. That's what Upanishad says. If we didn't have that experience, you would not have been surviving. but they are in such bits and pieces here and there that you cannot integrate them together. You cannot have them together like the way that you experience about the wakeful dream and deep sleep state. And it's not brought about by anybody else, anything else outside, but you just get caught up in that particular state. It does not stay with you. This is what you say, samapraptam. That means that quiet state, that moment of balance that you come across. We cannot hold on to it. Mandukya Karika says that nachalaye, don't disturb that quiet state that is there, because that's what is the state of Brahman, Atmasthiti, that is there. Now, how can you get that? It's only by sadhana. The sadhana is actually withdrawing from the wakeful dream state and deep sleep state. When you withdraw, consciously don't enter into the dream state, don't enter into the wakeful state, don't enter into the deep sleep state. When you remove all these three things from you, what is that you left behind is that silence. Now, there's another very important aspect that comes about is that all the while I said that wakeful dream and deep sleep state are supposed to be nourishing. Wakeful state is for nourishing, dream is for nourishing. All the gods and goddesses, all the gamut is supposed to be for nourishing. And then deep sleep state is also for nourishing. What do you mean by nourishing? In fact, often people think nourishing means being healthy, nourishing means being muscular, nourishing means being intellectual. No, that's not real nourishing. In a point of view of Vedanta, from the point of view of Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, nourishing means that which will help you to go back to that fourth state. Because you are neither wakeful nor dream nor deep sleep state. These are all the states which are superimposed on you, but you are that fourth state. So when we say nourishing, it means to say that which will take you towards that nourishing, towards that fourth state. So therefore, the food that we take is a sattvic food, not because that it has got vitamins and carbohydrates or the all those things, but it is the very important thing is that we have that nourishing is that state where it is taking us towards that. It does not arrest us in the world outside, but it takes us towards that. Therefore, now if you can see that when I interact with the people, when I have all these temples and gods and goddesses, puja, this, everything, we can use it for the state that I can go back to my peaceful state within you. That's what is nourishing. Then what happens is that it is not just I sit for meditation as a meditation. The whole day's activity is nothing but meditation itself. When I'm eating food, I'm consciously saying that is this food taking me to that fourth state, identify myself with the self, taking me towards that. That's what is prasada. When I interact with the people, the manas, get involved in the activities, and that's what is called as manaprasada. This is what Bhagavad Gita Krishna uses. So with these ideas, of course, I go into the depth of it. There are so many things which are given. Gaudapada also gives us. At least let us understand that every meditation is to go to that quiet state. Aum is also not very important, but the important part of Aum is that silence. A lot of time people, when they sing Aum, they sing the longer the Om it is better, but really the silence which is the better, which takes you to that silence. Aum is only a hint to go towards that silence. Let us use that aspect of it and let's go for this Mandukya Upanishad suggested kind of a sadhana. Whatever that Shastra it is said, it has to be upasana. We have to live with that state. So let us sit comfortably. The last 15 minutes, let's spend the time in that meditation. Bring down all this impact of the external world, like the way sounds, reduce the bright light, distractions in front of you. Put yourself in a comfortable position. The position does not distract you. Shucho Deshe Pratishtapya Sthiramasanamasthita, as Krishna gives us. Samam Kaya Shiro Grivam, keep the back, neck, and head in one line, straight but not stiff. Close your eyes so that in mind, think that you are withdrawing from the wakeful state, impressions of the wakeful state. Every suggestion of relaxation at the body level is trying to withdraw you from the wakeful state. Relax the whole body. From toes to head, completely withdraw. Slow down the breath. A natural slowing down. Withdraw from the external world. Similarly, a sound vibration of Aum helps you to withdraw from the gross outside world into silence. 3/4 of exhalation Aum, 1/4 silence. Breathe in one time. When you try to withdraw from the outer world, one thing that happens is mind goes into the phase of thinking or the dreaming state, the second state. Mentally recollect Aum so that it can avoid mind going into the dream state. Mind tries to go to the deep sleep state, a no mind state, because that's habit we created. When there are no sounds, when we close our eyes, it's a habit for us to go to deep sleep state. At the threshold, by singing Aum mentally, wakes you up. You are not the wakeful state, you are not the dream state, you are not the deep sleep state. You are trying to gather yourself from all these three states. That is the whole experience of meditation. Staying with the self, that's what is upasana. Upa means self, asana means being with that. Not being with the wakeful state, not the deep sleep state or dream state, being with yourself. One more time, let's sing Aum, which takes us to deeper silence. Three Omkaras, let us sing. Breathe in. Second round, inhale. Third round, inhale. Again and again, mentally, to sing Aum, to go to deeper inner silence beyond the deep sleep state. Beyond the gross, beyond the subtle, and beyond the causal, you become one with the Atman, self. Three Omkaras. Let's once again sing. Breathe in. Inhale. One last round. Inhale. Join the hands at the heart center. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently warm up, palm the eyes, slowly open your eyes.
Namaste, Raghuramji. Would you like to shall I start the questions?
Yeah, sure.
Let me just check the YouTube and I'll let you know.
Right.
Nobody has started. I just thought of asking you myself.
Yeah.
Okay. So you talked about dream state, Raghuramji.
Yes.
I was just thinking that even Patanjali has talked about meditating and inquiring on the dreams
Yeah.
and try to understand what is a dream about and meditate on the knowledge that comes in sleep. Can you just describe more about this?
Actually, normally we think that we don't have control over dream. But one thing that we can have, the idea is that that's what in the yoga texts say. Before going to sleep, when you do some practice of pranayama and bit of meditation, slowly you can see that you get the knowledge, insight into the dream. And the dreams, emotions can come down because, as I said, the dream content has two components. One is the content, and the other is the emotions behind it. If you do meditation, your emotions become peaceful. Therefore, the dream can be better. Carlo Castaneda, there is another mystic from the Mexico. He also gives, USA, he also gives the idea, Don Juan's discussions, in that he says, when the dream becomes a dreaming, that means to say you are entering into the phase where you become the master. And this is what Patanjali also says, that when you do that pranayama or the state where you are holding on to that threshold, wakeful to dream state threshold, there you keep yourself aware. That's a moment where the dream reveals to you what are the issues that are involved in the dream. And that becomes very easy for you to understand and then contemplate on the dream. So when the dream becomes a process of dreaming, for us, what happens is dream something what happens, that's all. We don't have a dreaming kind of a thing. This is what Carla Castaneda says. That's what Patanjali also agrees with that idea.
Thank you, Raghuramji.
You're welcome.
I'm just checking if there are any questions. How can we eliminate the three states? There is one question.
That's exactly the practice that we did it. Consciously that we can, we are doing consciously withdrawing from the wakeful state every day. When we go to bed, we switch off lights, we lie down ourselves in a comfortable position, all that. That's why we are eliminating ourselves from the wakeful state experience. But then every time we do it, there is a possibility for us to enter into the dream or deep state. Om helps us to see that how we can cut across the dream and deep sleep state and then maintain our awareness. So that's what we try to do it. And particularly when you say Om loud, it takes us from wakeful state to deeper level. When mentally, when we say, it takes further dream state into the further state deep inside with the awareness. Therefore, you will not enter into the deep sleep state, but you go to the fourth state. This is what Gaudapada clarifies that.
Thank you. And
yeah.
Still questions have not yet come because there is a lag in YouTube. So by the time you are finishing it, it takes time there.
So,
Yes,
who
yes.
am I? Are we the silent state? Yes, definitely. Whatever that state which is eliminated from the wakeful dream and deep sleep state, whatever that remain behind, is that's what is you, and that's what is the Brahman also. So therefore, you are that Brahman, which is beyond the wakeful dream, deep sleep state. That's why that first sutra that I said, that I am Atma Brahma, you, from which all these things come up. That's why I gave that idea also, but a short way I put it, and that is gross world, subtle world, and the causal world. And behind that causal world is basically the idea of Brahman or Atma.
There is one question, Raghuramji. Is
Yeah.
imagining a dream state?
Yes, every imagination is a dream state. Every this archetypal that we created, the gods and goddesses, everything, it's all in the dream state or equivalent to dream state.
How do we nourish our dreams itself? If we play an important role in nourishing during our wakeful state, does it is it directly proportional in the way our dreams also will be nourished? It's my question, so I just thought of asking.
Like this, we have so many distractions which we have kept it in the dream and in the deeper states of mind, like the way fears, anxieties, and all those things. So I imagine I could imagine the things, or I can dream the things that way, in such a way that they will take away all these disturbances from me. See, like, that's why I gave the example of Hanumanji. That fear is the way that I am away from my nature. My mind is kept engaged in the fear. I said, imagine Hanuman Chalisa, Hanuman is there, they'll take care of it. It's a beautiful imagination. I do that, that means it eliminates my fear. I'm peaceful inside. I'm calm inside. So this is what the same thing about the dream also. I remove my anxiety that's there in the dream, or in the form of my anger to my dad. I say that, okay, now I'm free from that. I come out of it. It freed me. This is what is nourishing. Nourishing is not in forms of becoming strong, etc. Anything with it. That's why I gave the final definition. Every nourishing is that which will take you closer to your self, your being state, that silence. That's what is nourishing you.
So, what about daydreaming? Is a good
All
question.
these things, everything is within the category of dream.
So, for a person, like you mentioned, the innermost desires gets manifested in the dreams. So,
Yes.
so that means the desires are manifested, but it's not the aspirations, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, what is the daydreaming? It's nothing but I have some desires, I have some ideas, and then those ideas and desires are manifesting in the form of daydreaming. So once it is not there, the substance is not there, then the daydreaming is gone. You pick up the substances in the daydreaming. That's what the story of Sheikh Chili is. That he thinks that he is becoming a big man, is listening and very healthy. And I imagine that his wife is there, angry with his wife. He gives a kick. And actually, in the process that he kicked all the glass vessel that he was carrying, when he kicked it, so all that thing is broken. They came out of the dream. That is daydreaming.
So the
Small little hint, we immediately get into the deep, daydreaming. You just imagine that, like, for example, that you are going to, very small little simple thing, that you plan to go to your place somewhere in Bombay or something like that, and then you go to the railway station, get into the, already start dreaming that you're in Mumbai, and then somebody is there, and then you're happy. All that, immediately daydreaming goes on. It shows that what is the desire that you have.
Wonderful. I just remembered last question, Raghuramji,
Yeah.
is some 2 days ago, Vijaya had sent an article about a person in Austria who's been
Yeah.
paralyzed from neck below, and
Yeah.
he visualized, he did a visualizing imagery that he's sitting and visualizing himself doing the practices.
Right.
So, and then that visualization made him feel energetic or made him
Right.
feel stronger and all that. So,
Yes.
so that means it's like a daydreaming, but it's a much more a stronger visualization, isn't it?
Right. That visualization brings about the reality for you, and then you start operating on that. Yes.
So yoga nidra, how does that, when we ask the people to go into visualization, so are we nourishing them in the deeper state, is it?
A deeper state. Yes. From the deeper state you nourish, that nourishment is much better. Like, one time it so happened in Prashanti, there was one young girl. She was waist below, she was a completely sick person. That means she could not even walk. She was in a wheelchair. Somebody has to. But then she always used to like my satsang in the morning, breakfast with this thing, Maitri Milan. She saw me going to the Maitri Milan. Wow, I should not miss this. Immediately can come in. Immediately, she looked around. There was nobody to bring her card. So therefore, he just got up from that place and then walked and came to Maitri Milan without any support. For almost like 10 years that she did not have any limbs, but then she could use that. That was the most fascinating thing that happened. That's why what Vijaya said is good. Visualization can bring about the reality.
So we'll thank you
Okay.
so much,
Thank
Raghuramji.
you.
2 hours of absolute insightful. I think it's
Thank you.
important for us to sort it out and write it, and so that
Yeah.
it helps us to organize and maybe talk over the dining table for during lunchtime. Who am I? So
Okay.
the question when I told everyone in the house, they said, "What you are Prabha? So what is who am I? Why are you asking this question?" So it's such a very deep topic, is what I'm sure everyone would have got some beautiful insights there, and people are eager to hear more from you. And so evening today at 4 p.m. So everyone here do log in again to again have a wonderful session about message from the trio Sharada Ma, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Swami Vivekananda Ji on the upliftment on womanhood. So that will be the session again by Raghuramji. So let's all sit comfortably now and we'll end the session. Reflect on all the beautiful insights shared by Raghuramji. How we can nourish ourselves in all the states. From today, let us contemplate and reflect and analyze our day, what all we are doing during these states, and can we nourish ourselves? How we can nourish? What all things we can do to nourish? Sahanau Bunaptu.
Last one.
Join your palms together.
Thank you.
And Sarve Bhavantu. Breathe in. Om. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramaya. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Go down gently. Whenever you're ready, blink, open your eyes. Thank you so much, everyone. See you in the evening.